Okay, let's ease into this, shall we? Alpha, Phase 2 of Ashes of Creation is just around the corner, and while the world of Vera is buzzing with possibilities, there's a particular group of players who've turned efficiency into an art form. You know the ones. Guides meticulously planned, rotations perfected, and mob spawns camped with military precision. They're not brute forcing their way through content. They're optimizing it, dissecting every mechanic to squeeze out every last drop of progression. It's impressive, really, like watching a surgeon carve through chaos with a scalpel. But here's the thing. Phase 2 might just be the curveball that makes those mob farmers feel like showing up to a chess tournament with a deck of Uno cards. Let me start with a confession. I'm one of those efficiency-obsessed players, the kind who would turn leveling into a science if it meant shaving 5 minutes off the grind, but knowing the gear grind is basically pointless in Phase 1. I've turned my attention to hunting and crafting mounts, exploring the economic side of the game, and generally avoiding the inevitable groan fest of mob farming. Still, the grind remains the fastest way to level, for now. My guildmates, bless their determination, have been complaining about the misery of getting from 19 to 20. It's like crawling up a hill with sandbags tied to your ankles. Exhausting, slow, and not nearly as rewarding as it should be. Once you hit 20, the things smooth out, but those level bottlenecks will test your patience. Phase 2 players might start level grinding in the beginning, but they may find that it's less effective than it was in Phase 1. Will grinding be irrelevant in Phase 2? Probably not, but it's definitely evolving. Mobs probably won't be dropping loot like a Black Friday clearance bin. I'm guessing they're going to be resource spawns now, and their value lies in the materials that they drop. It's not just a shift in loot tables, it's the developers quietly saying, you should get your gear from other players. This is of course my educated guess anyway. The rare mob gear we've seen so far, like Firebrand sets, will likely be crafted instead of simply dropped. Players will need to collect materials, find crafters, and build the economy themselves. Even in Phase 1, crafted gear started outpacing mob drops in quality, so the chat quickly filled up with players shouting for higher quality gear and materials. If Phase 2 leans into this, then the gear grinders will need to start working on their own artisan skills to be part of the player-driven economy. Now, the heart of Phase 2 testing is going to be in the nodes, advancing them, fighting over them, and inevitably complaining about them in chat. Progressing a node means working together with other players in that node through quests and gathering, unlocking better services as you go. But here's the twist. When one node hits level 4, its neighbors get locked in vassal status. It's like they're satellites stuck in orbit, unable to grow until someone knocks the main node down a peg, which is where node wars come in. This creates a cycle of growth and conflict that's as messy as it is exciting. Sure, we'll all start out with the noble intentions of collaboration, but give it a week, and alliances will be fracturing faster than a poorly built IKEA shelf. Node wars will become the ultimate proving grounds, not just for PvP, but for Ashes of Creation's promise of emergent gameplay. If you thought global spam was bad, just wait until guilds start fighting over trees. Phase 2 is shaping up to be an artisan's dream though. Already, in Phase 1, the economy began to take root with players bartering materials and crafting gear that outperforms items dropped from grinding mobs. Gatherers focused on resources, processors refined them, and crafters turned those resources into something worthwhile. It's a system that rewards cooperation and planning, or at least knowing who to bribe for the best stuff. The transition from grinding mobs for gear to grinding them for materials will separate the planners from the panic pickers. Speed will be key, players who can gather, process, and craft efficiently will thrive, while the rest will be scrambling to catch up, or missing out on the best gear when someone else buys it first. But it's not really about being first, it's about keeping pace in a system that rewards momentum. My focus in Phase 2 will be on the economy. Spamming chat to offload goods, that's a beginner's game. I'm thinking bigger. They'll probably give us market stalls, which will let players showcase their wares, and I plan to use mine as the foundation of let's call it a network. Gatherers, crafters, and traders working in tandem, building something that could, if handled correctly, reshape a corner of Vera. Of course, any rumors of shadowy plans to monopolize markets are purely speculative. I'm just here to help. Honest. Phase 2 is where Ashes of Creation starts showing its economic hand. The grind for gear mentality is going to be replaced by a more intricate player-driven economy, and artisans are poised to run the world. Whether you're grinding mobs, crafting gear, or plotting your rise to power, Phase 2 promises to be a turning point. So embrace the chaos, adapt to the changes, and let's see what we can build or control together. That's all for today. You're welcome.